Hi everyone, this is my first game with the newly constructed Viewer's Choice deck centered around Tori Hanzo. So thanks again to all of you who voted. So this is your Tori Hanzo deck that I've made just for you. Fortunately, this game, spoiler alert, I'll tell you now, I didn't draw the Tori Hanzo. There were two copies, I didn't draw any of them until too late in the game. So you won't see too much Tori Hanzo action this game. I apologize for that, but I hope you still enjoy this game. So, if you want to know more about this deck and how it runs, please check out my deck constructing video where I constructed the deck on the spot and explained all my card choices. So, moving on to this game, it's Nisei Division versus Silhouette. I keep my opening hand, it has no agendas, and more importantly, it has money and one ice. I would much rather have multiple ice against Silhouette, but hey, I won't complain too much because I'm able to do some funny stuff like install Caprice Nisei. Now here, I make a very big mistake. I should have drew on my first click instead of drawing on my last click, because had I seen the Eli on the top of my deck, I would have installed the Eli instead of the Lotus Field. Big mistake. One that will set me back pretty far. Always plan your turn ahead in advance and draw before you install. This is a very basic Netrunner rule, and I constantly breach it because I'm a terrible player. Alright, so yes, Lotus Field on HQ, mostly to prevent the siphons, and more importantly, you have to protect HQ against Silhouette, because if you don't, she will run in and access and get to expose your eyes anyway, so it's useless. In this case, I chose not to rest the Lotus Field because he ran on his last click, which means that he cannot keep up, he can only play one side game. So I would like to not waste all my credits on Lotus Field. Unfortunately, while I do manage to keep him out, unfortunately, I made the stupid mistake of bidding 2 on the side game, which brought me down to 2 credits. So my next turn, I was forced to take 1 credit before playing the Celebrity Gift. Now, the good thing is that since there are no agendas in hand, Celebrity gifting him means that he probably won't try to run HQ. The bad side is, since I show him no agendas, he knows that there are lots of agendas in R&D, and he runs there and fetches the Future Perfect. But luckily I managed to keep him out. In fact, I gained 1 credit thanks to him. So he tries again. This is a smart thing to do. He's a very aggressive runner and he's playing correctly. So why was it a mistake to bid 2 on the side game? If I was able to play the Celebrity Gift on my first click and second click, my third click could be spent installing the Eli, which would have prevented him from running twice on R&D. In other words, he wouldn't have fetched that Future Perfect that you see in his score pile right now. So right off the bat, I'm set back by 3 agenda points. This is awful. Alright, he attempts to run HQ again, and I won't let him in this time because I don't want him trashing my Caprice so easily. So, my next turn, I'm flush with credits because of the Celeb Gift and Hedge Fund, so I definitely want to install both Elis there. Knowing that all my agendas are still in my deck, I need to protect R&D, otherwise I'm just going to lose the game flat outright. He's a very aggressive runner. My first order of business is to get eyes on both central servers, and that I do. He makes the rather foolish mistake of clicking through my Eli. I'm not sure why he did this. He knows from the Celebrity Gift and the R&D lock he has imposed so far, he should have known that I only have 2 pieces of ice for both Elis. There was no need for him to face check both of them. He wasted 2 clicks by doing so. Of course, he keeps me poor in doing so, but not poor enough to prevent the side game. Against Nisei Division, I can easily choose to bid 2 on the side game every single time, and yeah, he's not going to get through. In fact, he just wasted his inside job there. So he's blowing away his early game advantage. He shouldn't be trying to contest the side game like that. So at least I passed the side game. One of you viewers made a very good comment to me a long time back, that by playing Nisei Division, you can afford to bid 2 on the side game much more often, because the setback of bidding 2 is not that high, and the chances of the runner bidding 2 is much lower. If you imagine yourself in the shoes of the runner playing against a side court, would you really want to bid 2 and then fail the side game? That will set you back so far back. So yeah. What he should be doing focusing now is to get his Code Gate Breaker out and then proceed to demolish my Nisei instead of wasting his inside jobs. He needs his inside jobs to contest my remotes because the moment I saw the breach hit the table, I knew that this was a central breaker silhouette deck. So my plans have suddenly changed. Against most other runners, my job is to fast advance from hand with Trick of Light, simply because my ice is porous. But against someone who only runs central breakers, I can easily score in a remote, very safely. And the best thing is, it's not vulnerable to anything like quest completed, because I have Caprice Nisei. He has to win the side game before he can ensure that he makes 3 successful central runs. That is a challenge. Okay, so he does run my archives and I hit him with Yagura, but that forces my Jackson out, which I've been using to cycle through my deck. I drew all 3 Jacksons very early on, which is a huge lifesaver because that allows me to power draw instead of clicking for credits. Clicking for credits is a very subpar action, but it's kind of necessary in this deck because you need so much money. With Jackson, I can draw through my cards and see more celebrity gifts. Because of this, I'm up to 11 credits once again, which is a very healthy credit range. And he still cannot get through any of my servers yet, and he's very poor. So this is actually my scoring window. Unfortunately, I haven't drawn enough ice to start scoring agendas, so agendas will have to wait. For now, I'm power drawing into ice because he just got his passport out. I know he's going to attack HQ next turn. So knowing that, I'm going to dump all my agendas into archives because he is going to siege HQ, and sooner or later I'm going to lose the side game. I have to be prepared for that. I also throw away the second copy of Caprice Nisei, knowing that I can reshuffle it back with Jackson and those 2 agendas that you see in archives. So yeah, the problem with Central Breakers is that he can assemble his rig so fast, even though he's pretty poor. Right now he draws a card and gains a credit. Gains a credit, I'm thinking he'll run HQ, but no, he plays the Magnum Opus. This is a very scary deck. He can generate money so quickly and then freely run all over my central servers. Even R&D, he can run it once every other turn, clicking his entire turn for Magnum Opus for 8, and then running through R&D, breaking through both Elis. That is a scary notion. Alright, so knowing that he can so easily siege my servers by building up a huge credit pool and running with central breakers, I installed the Mamba on HQ. So if he decides to run without an alias, he is going to find himself in a world of hurt. He does not want to trigger the Mamba, not against the kind of deck that he's going to play against, which is Tori Hanzo, Brain Damage. Okay, but of course, he does the right thing. He uses his next special order to retrieve the alias. He will start running from next turn onwards, or when he has enough money. So here I decide to finally set up my remote server, knowing that time is running out on my side. It's a Mamba into a Snowflake. This is the least ideal server that you can think of. You need 2 layers of ice to protect his inside job. I know he's running inside job because he showed it to me. And the innermost layer of piece of ice should be an end run, a hard end run that cannot be broken through. The outer ice should be a cheap ice like Yagura. So I made a mistake. I milled Yagura into archives, discarding due to maximum hand size when I should have milled the Mamba. But I wanted to keep the Mamba because I was greedy and I paid for it dearly. If he chooses to inside job my remote, well, I will be in a lot of trouble. But he doesn't. Instead, he runs on archives, which is a smart thing to do because that forces out my second Jackson. I have to dump my Future Perfect, Nisei, and I choose the Caprice. He lets me see the top card. It's a celeb gift. Welcome. More money. I need that. Alright, so he runs archives. He does not contest my remote, knowing that he cannot break through my ice. This tells me that he has no inside jobs, or he doesn't really care about what's in the remote. It could be another Caprice after all. So, since he doesn't contest it, I score the House of Knives. This is bad news for him. I was scared of his deck initially, his ID, because Silhouette can reveal my Cerebral Overwriters, the traps that I play, but I counter him subtly because he only has a 40 card deck, and House of Knives does a lot of net damage. Okay, so Mid game is rolling around, and this is where the runner starts to shine. At this point, the runner can have a lot of credits and easily bust through all my servers. I am very worried about this. So the next order of business is to pump out more agendas. This one's a Nisei MK2. Very, very important against Silhouette. Okay. Yes, being able to end the run at will is very, very important. This allows me to start scoring a lot more agendas in my remote. If I can score this Nisei, he probably will lose a game. I can even throw a future perfect into this remote, and he will probably not be able to get through. He has to win the Snowflake side game and contend with my Nisei token. So, of course, he finds his inside job. And this is why this is not an ideal server. I'm forced to pay 6 credits to offset his inside job. Terrible. And then it's the Snowflake which he cannot break. We play the side game. I bid 0 looking at him being rich, but he succeeds in the side game. This is so huge for him. I can't even stress how I lost 2 clicks installing that Nisei and a credit advancing it. And all it takes is one run through my server, and I lost 7 credits to rest all the ice on that server. And he gets 2 agenda points in return. I lost so much there. That was a huge loss for me, and now I'm on track to lose this game. I needed that Nisei very badly. I can't even stress how much that meant to me. And yeah, it goes back to doing the wrong things at the wrong time. I should have kept the Yagura instead of keeping the Mamba in hand. That Mamba is costing me a lot of money to rest, and it's pretty dead on the remote. He's not going to run it without an inside job. And without the Nisei and the run token, my centrals are now all the more vulnerable. He can make an R&D run now and win the game. He can make a HQ run, trash my Caprice, and suddenly I'm so vulnerable. And yes, he shows that exactly by performing a count siphon. Of course, I'm forced to rest the Mamba. So, I lost the side game on the Snowflake earlier. I've got to win this side game. He can definitely break through my servers, but I need to win this Caprice side game. Otherwise, I'll go down to 0 credits and things will be bad, trust me. I don't have any tech punishment, and he doesn't have any resources for me to blow up. So, things are looking very bad, but thankfully he jacks out after breaking the Mamba. I heaved a huge sigh of relief right there, because had that siphon landed, I would be completely crippled. That said, I'm not out of the woods just yet. He's on match point now, and I only have 1 agenda to my name. I am still a long, long way from victory, and my secondary win condition is not coming online at all. I haven't drawn a single Cerebral Overwriter, nor have I drawn a Tori Hanzo to combine with my already scored House of Knives. Things are looking really grim for me, in fact, because if I don't fortify my central servers even more, he's just 1 run away from the game-winning agenda. And if I do fortify my central servers, I cannot outlast a Magnum Opus economy, and I'm not going to get any closer to my victory condition anyway. So, can I climb out of this rut? Well, tune in to part 2 to find out.